Okay. So if you would state your name and your job title.
Hi, I'm John Clark, and I'm president of Clark Tire Company.
So how long have you been living in Hickory?
I'm a lifelong resident. I've lived here for 66 years.
66 years. Wow. So how long have you been associated with the Oakwood Cemetery?
Well, I guess the first contact I had, my oldest sister was buried there, and we used to visit her gravesite as a child.
So how long ago was that? How long has she been dead for or deceased for?
Probably about 60 years.
60 years.
Yes, she was older.
And so is she the only person that is buried out in the
Well,
Oakwood
since
Cemetery?
then, my father passed away, and he was buried at the same plot, and also my mother. So I have 3 family members that are at Oakwood.
So have you had any other family members that have been buried at other cemeteries? I think there's Fairview, the other cemeteries in Hickory that is associated with the Oakwood Cemetery?
No, we just have 3 family members, and they're all at Oakwood. My grandparents were buried in other towns.
So are there things about the history of this space that you would consider significant to you or that you know about?
It just is the common burial ground in Hickory. It's right in the middle of town, and it's the one I'm familiar with because that's where my family is. But I don't know of anything that is significant.
So have you, immediately when your father passed away, how long has your father been deceased for?
Maybe 25 years.
25 years. So did your family ever look into other cemeteries besides the Oakwood Cemetery?
No, when my oldest sister died, my father found space for the rest of the family and made plans that if we wanted to be buried there, that there would be space for us.
So would you consider the Oakwood Cemetery or a cemetery in general to be sacred?
Well, I think that it's an important place, and it is sacred, just in memory of your family and knowing where they are, and it is a special place.
So how often do you guys visit the cemetery, visit your family out there?
Not very often. I'd say I personally go maybe once a year.
Is there any rituals that you and your family do when you guys go out there, or you go out there every holiday, or?
I just go through for a very short visit. My mother, when she lost our oldest sister, would take me as a child many times. She would visit quite often, and I would go with her, and we would plant flowers and go on special occasions.
So over the years, you said you've been associated with the Oakwood Cemetery for over 60 years. Have you seen any changes with the Oakwood Cemetery?
Well, it's not a place I really hang out, so.
Right. We hope not.
Not really. I think it's pretty much stayed the same. Cemeteries have always been a little scary for me.
So considering that you've been in Hickory for over 66 years, how would you say that the city of Hickory classifies the Oakwood Cemetery or the cemetery in general? Do they look at it as a sacred space, very important to Hickory? What do you basically know about the Oakwood Cemetery, just through the words of mouth?
Well, I've been to many funerals and services there and have friends and family friends that are buried there, and I would say that the city provides a service for a burial ground for residents and families. They have a challenge in that they are running out of space.
Wow. So do you know any other interesting facts that has occurred with the Oakwood Cemetery, or that you've heard people in the city of Hickory mention about the Oakwood Cemetery? Maybe people that have been buried there, the things that's went on in there in the past?
I don't know of anything.
So, like, who else goes with you whenever you visit the cemetery?
maybe other family members, but not a lot. A lot of times I just go by myself.
So you wouldn't say that you actually like going there? Is it more because you just want to pay your respect and then leave? Or do you actually soak it in, enjoy, being there?
I think I'm in for the short visits.
And for the short visit.
Yes.
So what goes through your mind whenever you're in the cemetery? How do you feel? Like, what are some of your emotions?
It makes me think about how important family is, and brings back fond memories of my sister, my mother, and my father.
So when you're actually there, you actually relive some of the many memories that you've witnessed in the past.
Yeah, and I think about how important my parents were to me and all the things that they did for me and the rest of the family as we were growing up.
So let's say if the cemetery wasn't there at all, and your parents just went somewhere after they passed away. Would you say that you probably you couldn't relive the memories that you had in the past because they're not actually there? You're not actually able to go and pay your respects?
I think it would be harder. I think it is important for me to know that they have a final resting spot, and it was one that they chose. And so I have a place to go back and remember them and think about all the things that were important.
So over the 60 years that your family has been associated, what has kept it sacred over time, the Oakwood Cemetery?
Just their final resting ground and family. Our entire family knows where our parents are, and they know it's an important place for us.
And what do you see in the future for the Oakwood Cemetery, since they barely have any spots left?
Well, I think that there are other cemeteries popping up around town, and the cremation is becoming a choice for people, and it takes less space. So I think some of that is happening to supplant the need for an actual cemetery.
So overall, not necessarily just Oakwood Cemetery, would you say overall that a cemetery in general is sacred to a family? Could it be sacred to a family?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
Because it represents where they are and their final resting place. And you do have, when you visit their final resting place, you do have a spiritual revelation of their life.
Would you say the same for cremation?
Yes. I think that it could be entirely the same, and usually there's a place chosen for the ashes. Some people are buried at sea. Some people are buried, the ashes are sprinkled on a mountainside or in a columbarium. So I think, yes, those all represent sacred places in the lives of those people.
So this is my last question. You might have another one. But how do you feel after you leave the Oakwood Cemetery, the times that you visit?
I always feel good that I saw, remembered, and thought about my family, which is very important to me, and the lives of my parents and my sister. It just kind of brings back their life, and is a good way for me to remember things about them.
Well, thank you. I think that's it.
Are we done?
All righty.
Okay.